This disturbing story now. A 9-year-old girl is among 5 people killed in shootings in Durban yesterday. The first shooting took place at a Cater's Avenue in Berea, and that's where 2 men were shot multiple times. Now, both men died at the scene. Hours later, a suspected drug dealer and his wife were killed in a drive-by shooting in Springfield. Their 9-year-old daughter was in the backseat of the car and later died in hospital. Let's speak now to Nobuhle Modise, and she joins us from Springfield in Durban. Nobuhle, good morning to you. As indicated in that introduction, quite a disturbing story. What are the details here?
Indeed, a disturbing story, Oli, and the details are still sketchy at this point, but where I'm standing is alongside Peter Road in Springfield, where that second shooting took place with that suspected drug dealer. He's 42 and his wife, who was 32, and unfortunately his daughter, who is 9-year-old, who succumbed to her injuries in hospital. So the details thus far are that it was a drive-by shooting. That's what the police have confirmed, and that the daughter, who was in the back seat, she didn't die on the scene like her parents did, but she went into cardiac arrest, and the paramedics did try to resuscitate her, but unfortunately she succumbed to her injuries in hospital. And police are saying that the 42-year-old male is a person of interest in a Hawks investigation. That's the information they've given thus far. And then with regards to the shooting in Berea, we understand that those are 2 taxi bosses who were sitting inside a taxi, and a car then drove past and shot at them and drove away. So details are still very much sketchy at the moment, but that's the information that we have. And it seems as though these kinds of assassinations are becoming a norm in the province, because if you will remember, last week there was that foiled attempt by the SAPS to assassinate another taxi box, and my colleague Karinda Jagmahan was on that scene when it did happen. And then obviously there's that big one with the famous rapper AKA, who died as a result of an assassination. And we've had other stories as well throughout just the beginning of this year, Inkosi, Nduna, that have been shot in and around the province. There's also those assassinations that have been taking place, and you will also remember that Marion Hill shooting that took place about a month ago, where gunmen opened fire at 2 separate workshops in Marion Hill and killed 5 people. So these kinds of assassinations are becoming something that are a norm in the province. And this weekend there was an imbizo in KwaMashu at the KwaMashu hostel that was facilitated by the SAPS, and what they had done is to call in Amakosi to come and be the ones to engage with the community members there, because there is an assumption, Oli, that some of these crimes are taking place because of people who are hitmen, who are groomed from outside of the province, and then come and reside in places like KwaMashu hostel, like Cleveland hostel, and that's where you find most of them. So that kind of imbizo was taking place there on Sunday, where Begitelo also made an appearance at the police station in KwaMashu, where the Amakosi were being briefed ahead of that imbizo. And he did say that he also wishes that that kind of imbizo would take place in Joburg as well, where you also see places like hostels, and that assumption again that people that stay there are those who are trained to be hitmen. And so that imbizo also forms part of a bigger conversation with regards to the proliferation of guns in the province, and this is why we're seeing these huge amounts of assassinations taking place in a short space of time from each other. Yesterday, that first shooting in Berea took place around midday, and 2 hours later, that shooting here in Springfield also took place. So police at the moment, details are still sketchy, but the information that I've given you thus far is what we know at the moment.
Nobuhle Modise, thank you very much for that comprehensive update. Well,